hopping into that, this has a learning curve to it. For instance, I'm going to die. Yep. Let's restart that. There'll be a healthy amount of cuts in this one. That's okay. Good evening, welcome to another episode of Games Done Slow and Bad, where we play games slowly and most often badly. Today we're here with some Super NES F-Zero, a genuinely difficult game. This is another fun run. We are obviously going to go with the Blue Falcon, and we're going with the Night League as a beginner. This game, in my mind, is genuinely hard. Alright, so this is your typical racing game for the Super NES. Is a futuristic racing game. You're, in basically a spaceship for all intents and purposes, and you got to steer around this course. You are very loose. If you have never played this game, it's kind of actually difficult to sort of acclimate to how loose you actually are, because there's a lot of sliding going on, and it's pretty easy to get off the track. Now I'm on beginner mode, and because of that, it almost doesn't matter. I should be able to beat this. But if you've never played this game, this can be incredibly tricky. You cannot just spam the speed up button and just let it go, because you will unfortunately be ping-ponging off of walls left and right. So yeah, this game is a little different than the other racing games of the time. Most people have played Super Mario Kart. This game differs a little bit in that, obviously, it gives you a speedometer, it gives you, this super sci-fi speed. But also, you have a power bar, and every time you crash into an opponent or into a wall, your power bar goes down. So you see it's in the top corner. You also have speed ups, which I can't remember how to use right now, and I'll remember in a second. There we go. That would be the A button. So when I go over this, that brings back my power, and I'm able to use speed ups to get a little bit of a boost. Now I am in first. I don't feel as though I necessarily need the boost at this moment because I'm on beginner mode. We'll do, by the end of this, an expert or advanced, whatever the higher level is, and you'll see really quickly why this game is no joke. So this game throws a bunch of sort of chaff at you, a bunch of bad racers, and a handful of really good racers. So you'll see every so often when I bump into something even lightly that the sort of someone's behind you light will come up. That right there. So you can see the speeds are pretty quick. The field of vision ahead of you is pretty shallow, and people come at you pretty quick. Oh, that was close. So yeah, even on beginner mode, you can see that that's no joke. I was running what I think are pretty good lap times, and they got right up behind me. Elastic band logic was really popular in these Super NES games. What that means is, no matter how well you are doing, if you're doing exceptionally well, the AI will pick up the pace and come after you. Like an elastic band. Oh, there's the bouncing. The elastic band will sort of snap back on you. So the more distance you put between you and the opponent, the quicker the opponent will get, because they're going to want to snap back. And it's infamous in Super Mario Kart, because that game was basically 100% elastic band logic. This game, I don't know for a fact 100% that it is, but I've played it quite a bit. I had the original cartridge as a kid. This is on the Super NES Classic, by the way, and I remember it being pretty tough, and the fact that even in beginner mode I'm having someone right up my backside pretty well constantly would indicate to me that, yes, indeed, there's a little bit of elastic band action going on. Alright, so this game was released in the early 90s. And, you know, among me and my friends, this was not the most popular title. I mean, the graphics are okay, it's kind of neat, you're flying a spaceship, that's cool. But this sort of always paled in comparison, because it wasn't Mario. And there's sort of something about that intellectual property of having Mario in the game that made the Super Mario Kart game, or Mario Kart game, more entertaining to me and my friends. This one very frequently stayed on the shelf. It did not get all that much play. Oh, come on. So this time, if you wanted to tell me that this wasn't elastic band logic, this was just bad racing, I would probably agree with you. I'm struggling a little bit. Ooh. Okay, come around the corner. Don't slam, or slam a little bit. Oh, skin in my teeth. Whew. So as you can see, this game is genuinely pretty difficult. You slide around, it's sort of like steering a hovercraft. Oh, those times are not good. It's sort of like steering a hovercraft. You're suggesting where it goes. Secondarily, you'll notice that this is an early game, as evident by sort of the sprites. While there's sort of a few unique carts, the actual racing surface is pretty much reused and recolored, so you're just sort of shifting the palette. Which, in old NES games, was pretty common. Most infamously, clouds and bushes, right? You can have a cloud, that's a white bush, right? Haha, look at that. We saved a whole bunch of room on the cart. Here, they're all very similar. They're just retextured different colors. Which I'm not going to say ruins any game. I'm actually in favor of sort of repurposing things like this. It's neat. But it does not, I guess, stand the test of time in either the basis of controls or looks. So really I'm playing this today because I think a lot of people are familiar with, Captain Falcon from the Super Smash Bros. Series. And, I think that's one of those things that the character is more rememberable than the, is more easily remembered than the actual game itself. Because I'll tell you, this game is like steering this hovercraft on glass, while being blown by a good cross breeze. It is, from a control perspective, frustrating. Come on. That's good. And I mean, I'm playing on, like, beginner. So, when you go on expert, this is just a masochist dream. Yeah. Yep, and there we go. I lost. Because I ping-ponged into the side and failed. Crashed out. Try again? Yep, let's try again. I got a few lives. So, why, pray tell, am I doing this? I don't really know. I'm attempting to find something to insert into the Illusions of Gaia slot now that that is over. By the way, check that out if you are into sort of old classic RPG cartridge games. And yeah, I'm just trying to sort of plug the gap until I make a decision. I have now an extensive N64 library that I would like to show off. But the games I'm thinking of are a little bit duplicative with like the true Mario RPG slot. So I'm attempting to sort of sidestep that and buy time. So if this seems random and out of the ordinary and not in line with other things I do, you're right. But it just seemed fitting because, this game, you don't see it very often. I'm going to probably quiet down here because I need to focus on getting this done. And I will likely voice over a little bit as I sort of fast forward this. Alright, so here's your boring voiceover information. This game, F-Zero, for the Super NES was released in Japan in 1990, released in North America in 1991, and eventually made it to Europe in 1992. This is the first game in the F-Zero series, and it was one of 2 launch titles. It was alongside Super Mario World for the Super NES in Japan. It was not so in the other countries. It was re-released on the Virtual Console and was available on the Wii, and the Wii U, and the 3DS. And it's also on the Classic Console, hence why we're watching it here today. Most people will have the knowledge of the character Captain Falcon as being part of Super Smash Bros. And less about this, which is interesting. This game scores pretty well among most of the reviews that have been placed out about it. At the time, obviously the graphics you're seeing would have been considered pretty amazing. Yeah. Interesting factoid, there was a attachment for the Super Famicom called the Satellaview that would have actually brought about new content for this. That would have never, ever made it to America because it barely lasted in Japan, but just an interesting little factoid. So yeah, now back to watching me struggle at racing. Woo! Yeah! When the track is called Deathwind, you know that you're in for a good time. So as this degrades into a demolition derby, one thing to consider is that when you're going over those healing patches, you have to make a decision, and you have to make a decision pretty quick. Do you want to heal, or do you want to win? And if the answer is that you want to win, you probably aren't going to heal. And if the answer is that you want to heal, or the answer is that you want to... Yeah, I'm sorry. The answer is that you want to win, you're not going to heal. If the answer is that you heal, you're probably not going to win. So you're sort of stuck in this catch-22 where you're constantly making these little value-based decisions. We gotta hit those arrows! It's not good. These arrows are not negotiable. Hit the arrows. Oh, nope, that's it. Nope, I think that might have been it. That might have been it. Right there. I am very unlikely to be able to keep alive for this next lap. Final lap. Deep breath. So this track has this trippy effect where you're constantly feeling like you're being pushed. And that's an uncomfortable feeling. Whew. Alright. Look at that track for a second, folks. Do you think I'm going to make this? I don't think I'm going to make this. So yeah, this game starts you off pretty easy, giving you nice little loops, and then quickly oh, those things explode. And then quickly degrades into madness, with hard turns that you need to clip the corners of, and things that look like secrets that are actually traps. And wait for this nonsense. Look at this. Clip corner, clip corner, clip corner, clip corner, clip corner, clip corner. Like, you pretty much are almost guaranteed to touch the corner at least once in that. I mean, not if you're the AI. If you're the AI, you have some sort of dwarven magic that keeps you from getting hit. So yeah, again, most of you probably haven't seen this game, haven't played this game. I mean, it's worth a shot, especially if you are planning on picking up a Super NES Classic anyways. It is a challenging game. Like, you will feel challenged playing this. This is not picking up a copy of Mario Kart for the Switch and hopping into that. This has a learning curve to it. For instance, I'm going to die. Yep. Let's restart that. There'll be a healthy amount of cuts in this one. That's okay. So yeah, each of these carts actually behaves their own way. We've only played as Captain Falcons. There are 4 carts you can choose from, which, you know, for a game of its age is pretty impressive. You know, we're talking about a time before you had, you know, customizable everything in games, and you were able to choose which racer you wanted, and those racers weren't all the same. They had their own sort of acceleration curve, their own qualities about them that were just unique to them, which is kind of neat. Definitely ahead of its time. So I believe the final safe cut is 3. We are not going to go for first place in this circuit because I literally can't do first place. Like, I'm not going to be able to do it. So we just got to keep ahead of this person or keep right on their tail. And we will throw our boost in right at the end. Yep. This is not good. Oh, this is stressful. I am genuinely curious if we'll ever see a return of this game. Limit 5. On the Switch. Nope. I feel like there's a few proxies that are pretty similar out there in terms of sort of spacey type racing games. So who knows if we'll actually even see it, but that's the worst start of all. Oh. So yeah, this game had some odd physics. No doubt there. Alright, imagine pardons. Animals were freaking out upstairs. I record in a very secluded area. They don't normally come down with me, so when it's late at night and they're like freaking out, I gotta go investigate. Turns out like someone down the street was letting off fireworks or something. Like something that should not have invited any concern from my animals, but was probably the scariest thing ever if you ask them. Wait, is it? What is one? Okay. Oh, come on. I'm hoping everyone else at home saw that. I'm gonna try some effects to illustrate that a little bit more clearly. That freaking Racer 3 clipped right through the other racer. Like, directly through him. Like, no one tell me that the AI in here isn't programmed to just win. I also would like to point out that he just clipped through me. Alright, we gotta be careful. Careful, careful, careful. I can fall down one slot, no big deal, but I can't get hung up on any walls. That would be a big deal. Okay, second place. Second place by a hair. Good lord. This game is genuinely hard, even on beginner. That was scary difficult. Good lord. Alright, just recapping my scores now. Whew. So this game possesses, you know, your classic racer feel combined with sort of a time trial race for the most points type thing. And we did pretty well. Better than, I'm going to be honest, I've done historically as a kid. Some of that I'm going to say I probably should do better than when I was a kid. But overall, like, I'm pretty happy with what just happened there. So hey, thank you a lot for tuning in. I know this is short. This is another one of our fun runs. We'll do a few fun runs before we jump back into something serious. I got a couple of games here that don't warrant a full playthrough, but illustrating some of the fun qualities I think is worth it. Yeah, sweet. We can now rerun any of them we want, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that was fun. Thank you everyone for watching. I know you have a ton of options when it comes to content on the internet, and I thank you sincerely for joining me here today. As always, I just want to thank you and wish you a good night.